That we've relocated to right by the start of the 200-metre semi-finals, which are happening very shortly. And I don't know if you can tell from the fact that my sort of hair is blowing around a bit. But actually, as they go around this bend right here, it's hardly the teeth of a gale. But it's in sprinting terms, that's actually quite a considerable breeze that you're running into very early in the race. So what impact's that going to have on the way they approach this?
Well, it just means they have to use more energy out to the blocks, which they really don't want to do. They want to reserve as much as they can, because by the end of the race, the last 50 metres, you're actually running into muscle fatigue. So they really want it to be as much as they possibly can, but not here.
Okay, well, I think you can see they're getting onto their blocks behind us. 3 semi-finals in this particular event, and Steve Cran's going to describe the first one.
Thanks, John. And we had initially been scheduled for heats last night, but the amount of entries meant just 3 races in this semi-final stage. So Darren Green in lane 2, Jeffrey Lawal-Balogun in 3, James Alaka in 4, Stuart Benson in 5, James Ellington in 6, and Ruben Tabarez 7, Leroy Slew in 8. No Dwayne Chambers, in case you're just tuning in. He, after his defeat yesterday, today has woken up and decided he doesn't want to compete in the 200 metres, and of course there are 1 or 2 other athletes kicking around, the likes of Ricky Fifton, you might remember, pulled up injured at the European Team Championships, might have fancied his chances of making the team here. But it's going to be the man we're going to see in a second in lane 3. I think everyone's really looking forward to watching. He's had a big step forward in terms of his progress, half a second quicker than he's ever run before, 20.38, which is inside the qualification time. So Jeffrey Lawal-Balogun, 23 years of age, will probably start, if he gets through the final, as the favourite, but there are 1 or 2 experienced athletes kicking around. There's James Alaka, just 19 years of age, has again run a personal best this year, 21.19. Stuart Benson in lane 5. I think it's worth remarking that these championships are around the time that some of our junior athletes will be, well, under 23s heading off to their championships this week in Lithuania. Our juniors will be heading off to Serbia the week after that, and we had English schools as well. So some of these events a little bit down on entries. James Ellington ran in the 100 and coming back for a go at the 200 metres today. Ruben Tabarez of Birchfield Harriers local club in lane 7, and then outside him from Harrow, Leroy Slew. So, first 2 to go through, and 2 fastest losers from the 3 races. And I think I'm glad that John and Colin confirmed, I think, what we thought in the commentary box here. We were watching some women's heats earlier on in the 200 metres, and the times were slow, even though there's a following wind in the home straight. And I think it is exactly what they said. They're running into a stiff breeze through this first 50, 60, 70 metres. And that's why times have not been that quick. So despite a following wind in the home straight, I think the 200 metre runners might struggle to run particularly fast here. But we'll see. And this young man won't worry too much about that. He'll be looking for the victory here, because he already has the qualifying time. And if he wins these championships, then he'll be heading off to Berlin. Well, that almost looked like a fly, but certainly Lawal-Balogun didn't get a good start, but he's into his running now in lane 3 then, already up on James Alaka outside him, and James Ellington running well at this point. So now Lawal-Balogun into his running nicely into the home straight, and he can relax a little bit here if he wants to, because he's got some clear daylight between himself and the others. Just the first 2 to go through. It's going to be close on the line, and Alaka probably just getting the second place. 20.91 the winning time, and again, as I said, it comes up as a following win, but I think that first 100 metres is probably quite tough. But nice and relaxed, didn't he? Well, that's all he needed, just to make it safely through to the final.
Not a bad time, looking very relaxed indeed. That's the man who finished in second place. Well, Steve said it was almost a flyer. That was by Stuart Benson, the Royal Air Force athlete. It didn't take long for Jeffrey Lawal-Balogun to really make some headway as they came off the bend. James Alaka eventually finished second, was already surpassed by 5 or 6 metres. Now, it's reported that Jeffrey Lawal-Balogun was spotted by an athletics coach about 3 or 4 years ago running for a bus, and he thought, this guy is quick, and he's not wrong. 23 years old now and getting better and better. And Alaka just getting that automatic second place in qualification. But that's nice, relaxed sprinting. And certainly I'll look forward to seeing him in the final. This is an athlete that's been improving all the time. And in terms of international experience, certainly has a lot of potential if he keeps on going like this. Well done. The final later on this afternoon.
First heat, or semi-final if you like, semi-final round, was won in 20.91 by James Lowell-Belogan, and indeed Alaka just running out James Ellington for the second qualifying spot.
Well, straight away on to the second semi-final. Timur Bay, Lawrence Mensah, Leon Baptiste, Richard Beardsall, Christian Malcolm, Mark Findlay and Todd Marshall on the outside in lane 8. Well, difficult in some ways to see who is the favourite for this particular hit. It could be former British international Timur Bay. In the past he has run 20.57 but only 21.16 this season. Woodford Green and Essex Ladies Club. Just outside Tim is Lawrence Mensah from Herne Hill Harriers, very famous club in South London. 24 years old. He's going to have to go a bit quicker than his season's best this year, you suspect. 21.79 to make it through. Leon Baptiste, very experienced athlete indeed, from Enfield and Haringey. He set a lifetime best this year at 20.57. He's definitely the fastest man in this semi-final. Richard Beardsall from the Trafford Club, 30 years old now. Looking quite relaxed. You can see the flags blowing in the background. Really is blustery around the 200-metre start. Christian Malcolm, former world junior champion. That was a few years ago. 30 years old now. And on the comeback trail, you might say. But certainly one of Britain's fastest with that clocking of 20.08. Mark Findlay, another British international from Newham and Essex Beagles. Really have got some veteran athletes in this particular semi-final. 31 years old now, 21.26 in 2009. And finally, Todd Marshall from the city of Sheffield. Just to remind you, Jeffrey Lowell-Belogan dipped under 21 seconds in that first semi-final. So that's the sort of figure that all of these guys will have in mind heading off towards the final later. The first two, plus the two fastest from these three semi-finals, will make it through to that final. And Marlon Devonish, one of Britain's best, he goes in the last semi-final. But there's Christian Malcolm, Cardiff Athletics Club. A very, very tidy bend runner when he's on form. But Christian Malcolm did get away well, and just outside him Mark Findlay really flew off his blocks as well. Mark Findlay possibly a better 100-metre runner. But Christian Malcolm is coming through, and so is Leon Baptiste right in the centre. Timur Bay on the inside's got some work to do. Very long striding man, but look at this from Leon Baptiste. It's a real battle for second place. Baptiste gets it. Christian Malcolm gets the second place, so he's safely through. 20.80, that was quite quick. But was Leon Baptiste there just holding his left leg? Maybe just a touch of cramp there, but a very satisfactory win there from Leon Baptiste. And 20.8. Don't think the wind gauge, Steve, was working there. We didn't get a readout, so whether it was a following wind or a headwind, we're not sure.
Following wind again, Paul, about 1.7, but against them, obviously, through this first 50-60. I think Leon Baptiste there running a superb bend, but at what cost here? I'm just watching him. He's still down at the track. He's on his hunkers now, and may have done himself a little bit of damage. You might be right. Hopefully it's a little bit of cramp, but he's actually limping away at the minute. And a bit of experience here. Watch Christian Malcolm. Christian's been struggling to get back with injury. He moves himself into second place here, Christian, and then he turns off the gas a little bit, thinking, well, I've qualified. I'm not going to chase you. And of course the youngster is out there, Leon Baptiste is out there, sorry, and then when he crosses the line, I don't know, even it might have been even when he was easing up as he crossed the line. There was certainly nothing when he was running, but he's definitely limping there. Marlon Devonish, the most experienced man in the field, has won this title 6 times. He goes in the final of these 3 semi-finals, or the last one, just to not confuse finals and semi-finals there. Dwayne Dowding in lane 2, Marlins in lane 3, Jonathan Brown in 4, Toby Sandeman in 5, Ryan Farrington in 6, Jason Hussain in 7, and Elijah Wynn in lane 8. The Marlins had a very mixed season. Talk about him in a second. This is Dwayne Dowding from the Hercules Wimbledon Club on the inside of Devonish. 21.8 this year. Marlins started the season with a lot of promise, with a couple of good times at 100 and 200, but then he's had a few little niggly problems. I know at the European Team Championships he was struggling with a little bit of a niggly hamstring, but hopefully all that's behind him now, and he really needs to produce some of his old form here. Jonathan Brown's outside him in 4. He competed, I think, in the 400. I saw him running the other night. Toby Sandeman now, what a good year he's had. Under 23 champion, just 21 years of age, coached by Ron Rodden. 20.72, new personal best for him. Another youngster, Ryan Farrington from the local club, Birchfield, in 6. Belgrave Harrier, Jason Hussain. He's only run 22.25 this year. And then Elijah Wynn on the outside. So these conditions not necessarily helping them time-wise, but I think qualification not too difficult here really, in the sense that they haven't had to run heats last night, and just 3 semi-finals, top 2 going through. So Marlon Devonish in particular, and probably Tony Sandeman, obviously the 2 favourites here. Devonish really needs to get some confidence boosting performances under his belt and make the team in the 200. He certainly wants to be part of the relay squad in Berlin as well. Getaway first time there, and Devonish got a pretty good start, but it's Toby Sandeman who's perhaps started the best, and Marlon now into his run, and that's a storming bend. He always runs such a good bend, Marlon Devonish, and he's done that again here. Comes into the home straight with 1.5 meters, 2 meters over Sandeman, and now trying to go away. Sandeman trying to go with him, in fact looking across at the veteran, if you like, saying, well, I can chase you down, and the 2 of them have run fairly swiftly. They're well ahead of the rest of the field. It was all on the bend there, wasn't it? And Sandeman then had to work his way back to him. A little bit of youthful bravado there as well, we saw. If you're looking at someone and they're a yard ahead of you, they can't see you, you know. Anyway, I'm sure Marlon taking it as usual all in his stride. We'll look forward to the final now.
Well, that was a race which I really enjoyed watching. Marlon Devonish got away very quickly, second from the right-hand side, went absolutely steaming past Jonathan Brown. But at this stage in the race, Toby Sandeman must have fancied his chances, licking his lips, I guess, at the prospect of beating one of Britain's best. And Sandeman was hunting him down all the way down the home straight. Marlon Devonish just had a little look across there, but he couldn't have seen Sandeman. He was closing fast, so those 2 through to the final, under 21 seconds. Marlon Devonish goes, yep, I've just got it. Well, Marlon, I know, has been having 1 or 2 problems with injury, so not quite at his best. He is a 20.19 performer, but look at the way that Sandeman ate up the ground between himself and Devonish over the last 50 meters. Good effort by both of them. Should be keenly contested. There we have it, Mark Finley. We don't think Timmer Bay is there, indeed it does not start. Toby Sandeman, Jeffrey Lowell-Balogun, Leon Baptiste, Marlon Devonish, Christian Malcolm, the defending champion, and James Alaka on the outside. There's Mark Finley, 31 years old now, coached by Michael Afilaka. Many years ago he won an English Schools Championship. Pretty fast at 20.83 set a couple of years ago. Oh, Timmer Bay, I told you, was missing. Toby Sandeman really has made a breakthrough here. Now coached by Linford Christie. 20.88 in his semi-final. Looked very good indeed. Jeffrey Lowell-Balogun comes from the Kent club. English under-23 champion last season, looking very, very useful. He's run very quick this year at 20.38. Leon Baptiste from Enfield and Haringey, former European junior champion some years ago. He ran well in his semi-final as well at 20.8 seconds. Marlon Devonish, Coventry Godiva Harriers. Of course, one of the quartet who won that relay gold medal in Athens some years ago. 33 years old now. Christian Malcolm, defending champion. Coming back into some sort of shape, but he's going to have to be on his very best form if he's going to defend this title successfully. And James Alaka on the outside, just a teenager, 19 years old, double Kent champion in 2008, 2009. Now he's in this national final. It's certainly going to be very, very interesting in terms of Jeffrey Lewal-Balogun in lane 4. But just inside him, I was very impressed with Toby Sandeman. He finished very, very strongly in his semi-final. That is Balogun. He really has made giant strides towards world-class times this year. Not very much wind in the stadium either now. The wind really has dropped. This could be quick. That was a great start from Marlon Devonish, but it might have been too good. Very interesting that lanes 1 and 6, that's Mark Finley in your picture, and Marlon Devonish were both shown the yellow card for that false start, but now of course everybody under pressure. Just in the foreground there, Christian Malcolm looking very, very relaxed, but I think he's going to have to produce his best race of the season if he's going to make any impression on this final. Jeffrey Lewal-Balogun could make a real breakthrough here. He's already got the A qualifying standard for the World Championships in Berlin, but he needs to rubber stamp his authority on everybody else in the field. They get away this time after a little twitch on the blocks there from Marlon Devonish, who's not away too well. Lewal-Balogun is going well though as they come into the home straight. Now Devonish begins to make his move. Christian Malcolm is way off the pace at the minute. Lewal-Balogun's got some work to do, and also Sandeman's coming through very strongly as well. Sandeman is going to win this one. That is remarkable. I think Devonish just got it from Baptiste in third place. He cannot believe it. 20.70, a new lifetime best performance for him. He's going off to the European Under-23 Championships later this week, and that is a tremendous performance. Lewal-Balogun faded badly over the last 50 meters, and you can see what he thinks about that. What do you think about that, Steve?
Well, he didn't get the best of starts, Lewal-Balogun. Marlon Devonish got a pretty good start, but this young man here, Toby Sandeman, you can see he doesn't run a superb bend as such, but he's in a difficult lane there, so gets himself into contention. Devonish, if anything, was right up there, and Lewal-Balogun, this is where you think, okay, go on and win it from there, but he comes under pressure from Sandeman on the inside, and he buckles, and he starts to go backwards, and then Leon Baptiste and Marlon Devonish are coming through with Toby Sandeman, but it's in the last 20-30 meters where he's very, very strong here, and just gets a meter or so advantage and holds on to it. He's focused ahead, he's focused on the line, and that is a surprise win, it has to be said. He looks across in the end there, and a personal best to boot, and the championship and the title. But look at it here, as I said, when he came alongside Lewal-Balogun, he starts to tighten up and goes backwards, and Toby Sandeman is just focused ahead. Devonish comes with a bit of a late dip there to take the second spot, but well, that's got to be a headache moving forward. Of course, he doesn't have the qualification time, but he does have the title.
Toby, one of the happiest men I've seen this weekend, I think. A great performance, a surprise performance, but an accomplished one as well.
Well, you know, last year I came here and I got an injury in the first round. So I told Ron then, I said, you know, I've saved enough money from work. I'm going to take a year out. I'm going to come back and win it. And there's Linford and Matthew from the where I work out, doing the weights. I've just been working so hard. I just kept the dream in my mind, ambition in my heart, and I came through and I took it.
So tell me, what is going through your mind, having made that kind of vow to yourself and other people at the start line today?
Well, I didn't think about it like that. You know, I just went through the checklist like Ron taught me. And as soon as the gun went, I just made sure I just ran, did everything I needed to do, and came out on top. I'm very, very thankful.
Congratulations on a tremendous performance.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, the new champion finished 6th in the English Schools Championships in 2006. He really has made some progress. Toby Sandeman is the new champion, 20.69, 300ths inside his lifetime best. Marlon Devonish on the rostrum once more, 20.78, Leon Baptiste in 3rd.